Hey everybody, I'm here with my friends Jim and Saberspark.
Not your friend.
And what?
I'm not your friend.
Not?
Whoa.
No, I'm your
Whoa.
best. I'm your best friend.
Oh.
Oh, that's
Oh.
that's sweet. That's sweet.
On opposite day.
That's sweet. I didn't want to see you guys on Keemstar tomorrow. So and he's eating popcorn like, tell me about it. I haven't watched Keemstar, but that's my understanding of it.
That's me saying too.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
anyway, I'm here with them to talk about our favorite movies of the 2010s. Mainly just our favorite live action movies of the 2010s. Though if we have time at the end, we're also going to talk about anime movies because Jim here has watched a lot of movies.
Yeah, a little bit.
And I was originally going to make a video about my favorite live action movies earlier in January, but I only did a video on my favorite cartoons and favorite animated movies. And Saber also did the same thing. He did in December his top 5 favorite cartoons and animated movies. But I never talked about my favorite live action movies. So that's what this stream is about. We're gonna go over some top 10 lists of what our favorites are from the decade. Since, I mean, nothing really came out this year.
Yeah, actually, this is the first year I've playlist of like movies I reviewed in 2020, and it's like 20 movies. Like
Yeah.
like most years it's like 50 or 100 or like crazy numbers, and this year it's like 20, and I still put like the Infinity Train books in there and all that, so it's like it's probably like 18.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back and forth between me and Jim with our lists, and then I guess Saber will commentate because he doesn't have a list, but he has seen a lot of live action movies. So if you think of one that you might want to put on your list, Saber, you can just like shout it out and we can talk about it.
Right now.
But so
Saber's seen a few movies, not too many, but
a little bit.
a little bit.
So which one do you want to do first, or who do you want to go first? Because one thing I realized with my list is that when I was going through it, I was like, with all of my choices, there are movies that I felt compelled to watch more than once. Where I'm like, I got to show this to somebody, and like, like I got to either show this to my dad, I got to show it to Saber, or got to show it to somebody else. Because that movie was like, oh, this was great. So,
I mean, I had that issue. I don't know. Mine, I guess, is a combination between, I guess, because I'm like a film dork. I'm like, oh, that film was really like, amazing. So I had to like cipher between faves, and so there's some like personal stories, all that stuff on these. So, but hopefully there's some people I haven't seen. I don't know. Hey, if anyone watching this, get a notepad out, write these down, or in notepad on your computer or something, and then you have stuff to watch. So
yeah.
at the very least.
But we'll answer super chats as they come in. One from Jaxblade saying, "Paleo voice. Let me tell you why Jurassic World is the most amazing piece of cinema that you'll ever see. Reason number 1, my ear. And Zane Powers saying, Jim, once you said wish all movies would take a year off just to let you catch up on all the ones you missed. What happened to that, bro? That's the same thing. It's like once you have the time, it's like, well, I don't want to do it now.
Well, I don't have the time because I have like a kid and a job. Like,
oh
that's
yeah,
that's they.
See, I don't have an excuse.
How? Yeah, what's your problem?
Yeah, I was like finally going to finish the top 250 this year.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
You should do it.
I mean, I got a month left, but I got like 60 movies left, so.
Oh wow. The one that's
it's like ever changing. So like, at least like once I watch a movie on the top 250 is like, oh, if it ever goes back on there again, at least I've watched it.
Yeah. The AFI lists were good because there's only like
oh yeah, I like those.
Yeah, and they, even though I don't agree with everything on there, they're movies you should see, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
those are good. I mean, they're like, yeah, like just should see. You don't have to think they're the most amazing thing ever.
I'm gonna come get him.
Yeah, he might need water.
Take
We,
that
we
gone
got
with the
got
wind.
Lammy here as a special guest.
Sorry, he's a nuisance.
Daniel Vasquez asking, hey guys, since the Cruise 2 did well Thanksgiving box office, do you think Sony will now release Connected theatrically either in June or February?
No.
Yeah, maybe not that. That might just go to Netflix, I think.
I think there's a good chance they're gonna, because they're really selling things off right now with what's happening with Godzilla Kong, presumably what happened with Wonder Woman. I think that it's probably better for it at this point, but we'll see. I think once we hear more about a vaccine, maybe, because it's indefinite, right? There's no release date.
Right.
I wouldn't think of January, February as a release that Hollywood's thinking about right now. That's
Yeah.
what I would say.
Anyway, I guess I'll flip a coin for which of us will go first.
Okay,
'Cause
sorry.
I've got a quarter right here.
Okay.
Heads or tails? Or do you want to go first?
Head. No, we heads. Suspense.
All right. Shit. It's tails.
Okay, go first.
All right.
And we do have some ties. I'll preface that.
Yeah. Like for some of mine, I have them like these are similar, so like, or they're in the same series. So, So one thing about my list is that as I go down it, you're gonna notice that it's dominated by a certain genre, and you'll probably guess it after a couple. The first one is probably the weirdest choice on my list, because I don't think too many people have heard of it. And it also has the title of another movie that came out later. Because this movie is called Circle.
you showed me
Not
this one.
the Circle, because that was the one with like Emma Watson or whatever, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
not that movie. It's not that movie. That's not what my number 10 is.
Okay,
I never
yeah,
saw that movie.
That movie wasn't good.
Yeah, this is called Circle from 2015. And yeah, I showed Saber Saber that movie. I also showed my dad too, because it's it was a very interesting premise where it has this big group of people that are just in this room and they don't know why they're there, and people just start randomly dying, and they start like asking questions to each other, and the thing is that they're voting for who dies. So it's.
Whoa.
I was gonna make a bad joke.
But it's a very interesting like thriller like that, like an intimate thriller where it's just like one setting with a bunch of people, and then they just start dying off until there's like one person left.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this actually.
Yeah, it came out in 2015 because I saw it like on Netflix, and I was like, this sounds like an interesting premise, and then I watched it. I was like, wow, that was surprisingly like good. So because I hadn't heard of anything about it before.
Have you seen Cube?
I want to. I haven't seen it.
Okay, if you like this, you should check out Cube. Cube's really cool. But that, man, I didn't expect you to like stump me on the first one. Damn.
Yeah,
There you
that's
go,
why I
fella.
said this one is probably the least known out of the ones I put on my list.
Okay, that's cool. Should I go or did you? Sorry.
Jack's Place saying, "Can you imagine Paleo as Two-Face? You want to go first or me?" Okay, drops the coin.
That wasn't that an animated series? How he like has the freak out because Batman throws all those quarters, and he's like, "No." Maybe I'm remembering that wrong. Okay, Saber's looking at me like, "What are you talking about?" Anyway, should I do my 10? I guess or
Yeah.
okay, sorry. My 10 is a tie. Sorry. First, this is favorite. I want to preface this before I
Yeah,
say this
these are like favorite movies, not best
I just-
movies of the decade, just our
I have-
favorites.
I have some silly ones at the beginning here. One is silly, one is maybe less. Is Pop Star. I
Oh
really like.
yeah.
I really like Pop Star a lot. It makes me laugh. It's just like it is. I will say it is Spinal Tap. Basic, like it is like
Yeah.
structured Spinal Tap, and Spinal Tap's a better movie. I've I say that in the video I made for it, but it still like makes me laugh, and I love like the guy who's playing the Tyler the Creator character and like all the meta things it's saying about it. It's just a great, seriously great movie. I just really love it. It's really funny. It made me laugh out loud in the theater, and I've seen it a lot of times. It might be of these the one I've seen the most, believe it or not. And then the other number 10 is a little more personal, I guess, because it was Logan, and
Oh.
that was the last movie I saw before my daughter was born. And I've talked to a bunch of guys who had kids around my daughter's age who saw Logan either right before or right after and have this like connection to that movie because of that, because that movie's like about fatherhood and stuff. And I think when I reviewed it, my video was way too long because I was like just I don't know, it was hard to explain. Cause I even when I left, I was like, whoa, that was telling. Okay. Maybe I'm gonna have a kid tomorrow. I don't know.
Hmm.
And then because those things just sort of happen if you didn't know. But also, I had always wanted Hugh Jackman to have a great Wolverine movie, and I think he probably gave one of the great superhero performances, and it's Western elements in it, and I don't know everything about. I know it's not the most solid movie. The two Wolverines thing is dumb, but I still just really love Logan. So anyway, yeah.
Yeah. It's one of the best like X-Men movies.
Oh yeah, I would
Yeah.
say it's up. I actually got to talk to at the first MomoCon the people who made the animated series,
Oh
and we
yeah,
talked
yeah.
about
They were there.
yeah. They I like got to speak to them. We had a nice little chat, and I was like told them about Logan and like what I just said here, and they were like, "Man, Logan's like." They were saying like that they felt that was the best X Men movie, and I was like, "Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
would go on that hill." Anyway,
One
yeah.
one thing I wanted to say about Popstar is that my favorite scene in that is the scene with Seal and the wolves.
Oh, he's, he's like, how do you think I got these scars? Fucking wolves.
Yeah. By the way, for super chats, I'll answer the ones we missed when we started and we're having some technical difficulties. We'll answer those after we like go over our top tens. Um. So Saber, you have anything to say about our tens? Because I know I watched Circle with you
No.
and Laura.
I think Circle. Cause I did watch Circle. I think it goes to show you how you can have just literally a dark room with people standing around and have a good story. And a big part of that is just throwing you into it, where you're just a viewer trying to figure out what the hell is going on, the same way these characters are, and to no, is it just wanton destruction? Is there a strategy behind it? Is there logic? What's going on? Like that really captured me, and just how it's like bam, dead, and you're just trying to grasp on for dear life to figure out what's happening. I like that. That was good.
Yeah. Um. So the number 9 that I have is actually a sequel to a movie.
Mhm.
And I don't know if it's controversial or not, but I think I like it better than the first movie. And that's Blade Runner 2049. Because I think as a movie itself, it stands on its own without the original. Because you can go into it not know anything about Blade Runner, and you'll get a good experience. And I was just like surprised by like how much I liked it.
Mhm.
And just it had some like really weird like twists going on towards the end of it. And just like the atmosphere and the set design and like we got a it's weird like we got a taste of what it looked like this year in San Francisco. I'm like, oh, maybe
Oh yeah.
2049 will look like that.
Mm. Yeah. 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 than it turns out. That was a beautiful movie. It's very
Yeah,
pretty.
like man, the sound design in that too. Like hearing that in the theater was great, and then like hearing it at home, uh,
Oh,
yeah, surround sound is good.
oh, I need to rewatch that one. I've only seen it the once.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know if it's a an unpopular opinion or not to think that it's better than the original, because I've seen the original a few times, the original Blade Runner, um, both cuts. I've seen the director's cut and the theatrical cut. I
Mhm.
just don't like the theatrical cut at all. Like that weird thing with like Harrison Ford narrating it. I just didn't enjoy that.
I can go back and forth on the narration because it's supposed to be like a noir, and that's like how they are usually.
Yeah,
So I think it sort of fits, but it does feel like he like doesn't give a shit. But then that also helps in the narration. Like his performance is very like, I'm just doing this because you're making me, and but then like that adds to like, is he a robot or not? But then I've watched the one without it, and I'm like, oh, I like the mood. So I don't know. There's too many cuts of Blade Runner. I That actually makes me not watch Blade Runner because I'll go, oh, maybe I'll watch Blade Runner, and then I'll go, wait, which cut? Never mind. I'll watch something else. Like
yeah,
it's too much, too much to think about. But I mean, I love Roger Deakins who shot it, and
yeah.
it's a beautiful movie. It's a beautiful movie. I need to watch it. I don't think I loved it as much as everyone else, but I need to rewatch it again because I felt bad.
Yeah,
Like
it's
maybe
it
I.
also has some really good effects where it's like there's that scene where he's with the android with the two like holograms and stuff. Is It's very
Yeah.
strange.
Or the when the woman showed up from the original, when Sean Young, the actor
Yeah,
Sean Young, I remember people were like audibly like and stuff like that. It was
yeah.
crazy. So yeah.
Saber, did you see Blade Runner 2049?
No,
Like I
no, I
said,
know a
like
lot of folks
you
liked
can
it.
watch it without seeing the original, and you'll still like enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you dig it.
I need to check it out still. I've never seen like posters and screenshots of it. It looks visually beautiful.
All right, Jim, what's your number 9?
Sorry, my cat's walking around, so that's what I keep looking at. I have, this is my second tie, and this is my left. Oh, Mike almost fell off. There we go. This cat is like, I need to get a new mic. That's my next upgrade. Anyway, so number 9, I have my second tie. It's my last tie, and I'll start with the goofy one first. I put Fast Five because I have seen this a lot of times. It made me fall in love with how ridiculous Fast and Furious is. I just remember I saw this with my friend Fernando, who I haven't seen in a while, but we were like cackling in the theater at like, this is a real movie. We were just laughing so hard, and everyone was around us like, what is wrong with them? Like but it is like a really funny movie. The famous shot of Paul Walker and Vin Diesel, and the car jumps off the cliff, and they look around and they're like, I guess we'll jump. Yeah, I guess we'll jump. And then they just jump out of the car. And I just love that. I don't know. It's the one I rewatch. I rewatched it a lot. It just makes me happy because I just love when The Rock, it's the first one with The Rock, and he gets out of the plane. He's like, and absolutely do not let them get into cars. Um, the Rock is just amazing. Anyway, but my more serious number 9, and I know it's probably the newest thing I have on here, and I think I knew it was a classic right when I saw it. Was Parasite. It's
Oh
just
yeah,
a great movie. I think there's a lot of films currently about wealth disparity, and Parasite is probably, which also like Hustlers was really great at that, but
yeah.
Parasite I think was amazing at that. It's just a wonderful movie. Like every time I watch it, I love all the twists, the actors, like just how well written it is. And I don't really like that director that much normally. I feel like all of my other reviews of his have not been positive. So this is like the first one where I was like, and I like really liked it. I was surprised how much I dug it. So it's just such a good comment on our kind of modern age, and I've already seen it 3 times. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I watched it with my dad because I was like watching. This was the first year I actually watched all of the Oscar nominees for Best
Mhm.
Picture. Um, and I watched with my dad because he watched also all of the movies that we watched for before seeing the Oscars, and he usually doesn't watch many foreign films, but like he was like really into it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a good one. It's a good one. It's like I just like when the dad's like, you know what the best plan is, son? No plan. And I was like, damn, been there. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Saber, you saw Parasite, right?
Yeah, I watched it with Laura. I loved it. That movie genuinely caught me off guard. I think we all know the point where it like just kind of like turned into a different movie, kind of, with its tone. Where it went from being kind of like a commentary. I mean, it's all a commentary on, like Jim said, the wealth like gap or whatever. But it went from being more of like, we're gonna goof on this family and kind of hustle them out of it, into like, oh, it's a horror movie now, almost like this.
Oh yeah, I don't want to spoil but yeah, there's that twist where suddenly you're like, your heart's pounding. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It was like, why did you what?
What?
That was bold, because that could have easily derailed the movie, where it's like you just jumped the shark, or this is not going to work. But I liked it. It kind of kicked it up with the Parasite element of it all, where it's like, oh yeah, Parasite indeed, I got you. So I liked it a lot. I really did. It was a great film.
Yeah.
It gives me an idea that South Koreans like I'm like, yeah, there's more than just Hollywood. Like South Korea's got their own thing going on, and it's good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of really good Korean movies. So my number 8. This is my tie here, and it's actually between 3 movies because they're all in the same trilogy.
Okay.
Star Wars 1.
No. None of the new Star Wars are in my list.
Han Solo.
Wait, but they didn't make 3 Jurassic Park movies. Yeah.
No, it's okay. Surprisingly, none of the Jurassic.
You're counting the animated series.
No. Surprisingly, none of the Jurassic World movies are actually in my list. They are in the honorable mentions though.
Okay. Of course.
But the Planet of the Apes prequel trilogy, like, out of all those movies, were like the most, like, when I saw the first one, I was like, this can't be that good. Like, a Planet of the Apes prequel?
Yeah.
I think strong together.
I think we all thought, I remember when the first one came out, I was just like, I didn't see it because I was like, ugh, I can't do this with Planet of the Apes again and again. Yeah. And then they just like took off, like, wow.
Yeah.
Those are good.
Like, out of the 3, if I had to pick one, I would say Dawn. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is probably the best one. Like, Coda is like a very good villain.
Here's the biggest problem. They need to do a better job with the titles, because it's so confusing. Dawn of the Rise of the Planet of the Waking Up to Eggs and Bacon of the Apes. It's like,
yeah.
It's because right now you say Dawn, and I'm like, the second one?
Yeah, that's the second one.
Like, okay, that's the best one.
It's Koba, not Coda. Coda's like, is that a Lion King thing?
Coda. That's from Brother Bear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Caesar. Tell everybody apes are strong.
But yeah, dude, Koba, like, when he's like walking up to the guys with the guards, and he's like acting like an ape and just like messing around, and then he like grabs one of the guns and they're like, whoa, and he's like shooting, and then just shoots them like seriously. It's I love that scene.
Dude, Andy Serkis is like a titan of like motion capture animation. Just insanity.
You know, when in any movie, this is like, at least in all the Star Wars and Marvel movies, if they have a mocap person, they make them train with Andy Serkis.
That's awesome.
He's not only the best guy, he's the guy you learn from, which is crazy.
The father of like motion capture. I mean, not the father, but definitely like most notable and well deserving of said notoriety, because he knows what he's doing.
True.
Let's see here. So your number 8, Jim?
Oh, my number 8. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a bold claim, my only MCU movie on here. And I had to think about this because I think when you see those movies, the opening night is a pretty impactful night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Civil War got close, but and the the end games and all that. But I think when this came out, I was sort of well, it's Black Panther. And when this came out, it was like I was kind of like having a rough time, and I sort of just needed like a good movie. And it was like not just like a good movie, it was like this amazing experience. Like people were straight flipping out, and like the women who were sitting next to me were doing the thing that the women soldiers do with their chains. It was just like it was just amazing. And then I saw it again like in the middle of the day, and the audience was still like going nuts. I was like, oh shit, this is nuts. So but I also just like what I like Ryan Coogler a lot. I could have probably also put Creed on here. And I've watched it a ton of times at home. And I much like how I really like Wrath of Khan a lot. Black Panther having the two Killmonger and Black Panther go against each other. I really like films like that, and I feel like I don't know. I really like that juxtaposition between Michael B and Chadwick, and they knew how to play off of each other. They're just wonderful. And then we got Winston Duke, and it just I don't know. It's sad that we won't get a sequel the way we imagined, but
Yeah.
I still, to me, it's like one of the best of the MCU. My favorite though is Iron Man, but that came out in 2000. So, but Black Panther just I don't know. It just like surprised me, and I liked it. I was already primed to like it, but I liked it way more. Both having amazing experiences with it, and just how and that weekend was just on fire in Brooklyn with Black Panther. But as well as I just also really love the movie, so that's why it's my number 8.
Okay. Surprisingly, coincidentally, my number 7 is also MCU.
Okay.
And it is also the only one, and it's also a tie. So it's really just between these two for me. And it's between Infinity War and the Winter Soldier.
Infinity Train.
And Winter Soldier. Okay.
Yeah. Because with Infinity War, that was like the big lead up to everything. Of like this grand finale of the MCU. And then like at the end of it, I just remember like being in the audience, and the people were quiet. Like they were like, "What happened?" And that was very interesting. But I think I might give the edge to Winter Soldier though, because that's the first movie I went to the theaters for, like after the first Avengers, where I was like, okay, now I'm getting into this universe. With the Winter Soldier, because like Bucky came back, and it's just like a really good sequel. Because I usually compare it to like Terminator 2 with like how good of an action movie.
Yeah.
Like that whole fight on the bridge is really great, and then the scene where Nick Fury is being like bombarded by the cops on the in the street. There's just like a lot of great action scenes in that movie.
Oh yeah, there's like almost too many. Winter Soldier's great. It's just a great.
Well, they made Captain America interesting, because I'll be real with you, I thought he was the most boring of all the.
Yeah, because like leading up, I was like a Captain America sequel. Like I saw it on a whim, because I was like, I guess I'll go see Winter Soldier, because that's when I started doing more movie reviews in 2014, and I was like, I guess I'll see Winter Soldier, because I hadn't seen Thor: The Dark World or Iron Man 3.
Oh, and nobody else did.
Yeah, you know what? Those are the two you can skip, man.
Yeah. Because like
Iron Man 3 is all right, but Dark World, you can.
Yeah, because like after Avengers, and those weren't like getting great reviews either. So I was like, sequels aren't really doing that well. But then I saw Winter Soldier getting better reviews. I was like, oh, maybe I'll see that. And then it ended up being one of my favorites. So yeah, it's a tie between Winter Soldier and Infinity War, but I think I'll give the edge to Winter. Because that's when I actually started getting into the universe.
I'm with you on that. Winter Soldier above Infinity. Why did you pick Infinity War over Endgame, just because
I think just because of the shock of it all at the end. Yeah, because like that was like a very interesting audience experience.
Yeah, that was just people flipped out over some of them. It was like, whoa, wow. Especially Mr. Spider.
Yeah,
as I call him.
Like I was very shocked that Black Panther, like whoa, what?
Yeah, that was one of the ones that people like got really upset when I saw it.
Yeah.
we're like people were like screaming in the theater like no. Some of the others they're like, oh no. But the Black Panther and Spider-Man. When Scarlet Witch died, people were like, oh, that sucks. Yeah.
I don't know. Infinity War made me fall in love with Thanos, and I'm like, dude, he's a good villain. And I didn't give a shit about the rest of the Marvel. I just want to see Thanos fuck shit up, and I did. And then Endgame happened, and I did not like Endgame as nearly as much.
Yeah, because it's a different Thanos. So
different Thanos. It felt a bit cheesier. Like there's some good narrative stuff with like Tony getting some closure with his dad, and Thor is still worthy. And of course, Captain America turns into Joe Biden, and he looks like Joe Biden at the end. It's kind of scary, actually. Yeah,
Saber, I keep telling you, you just watched the video after the election. You didn't actually watch it.
Yeah, you had Joe Biden walking up to Thanos. Listen, you're fat. Like,
wait, did you see that video where it's like Joe Biden has the hammer? And all these people come out and they have heads over.
Wait, what?
When Joe Biden won, someone made a video.
It was kind of cringe.
And
that one. Yeah,
it was the definition of cringe.
I saw one with like Lord of the Rings with the two towers where it had like the other states winning the electoral college with the charge they were here, and I'm like, stop it! Stop ruining cinema with this shit. Leave it alone. This is good stuff. Leave it. No, but what I'm trying to say though is Infinity. I keep trying to say. I want to say Infinity Train. Infinity War. Yeah, Thanos was like, man, that's the common denominator that just held it together so well. And like you said, Paleo, with him dying, definitely switches it over to like the other ones with like Tony and Cap, and Thor is there too, I guess. But like, I don't know, I felt like a little bit gypped where I'm like, guys, I'll be real. I don't. Tony's story is important, so is Captain, but like if you're for Thanos, you killed him, and now he feels more like a cheesier Thanos, a bit more.
He was less of a daddy Thanos, which is what you wanted.
He went from being kind of deep and contemplative, like I'm doing something that you might agree with if you see it in the right light, and then it became more of like blockbuster cheesy, like big action Thanos. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So hold on a minute. I'm gonna test something. It might stop the stream. But I'll.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What happened? Is it been going?
Because I think I figured out why I've been dropping frames on Streamlabs. It's going to reconnect now. Okay. Are we back? I'm just waiting for the chat to say if we're back.
Yeah, the delays in streaming is. So Streamlabs is good. I should look into that. Anyway.
Yeah, because I still have my VPN on, so that was probably messing with the stream itself.
Oh, yeah. No, you shouldn't do that. That was probably it.
Yeah, that's probably why I was dropping frames.
Yeah. You can't be from Russia and stream in America, Paleo.
Okay, it seems it's going live now. All right. So we're good. All right. So yeah, one thing about the MCU, it like completely dominated the decade as far as like box office goes.
Yeah.
Culturally
and culturally, like because I remember like talking to Jax about this when we did like a little discussion about Endgame, and that back when the MCU started, like a lot of people didn't really know these heroes that well.
No.
Like not a lot of people really knew Iron Man that well at all, because it was always like what Jax says is the three superheroes people always think of when they think of a superhero are Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man. and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Maybe Wonder Woman, but that's
Yeah.
as far as it goes. No, it changed. Like, I remember when there was an Iron Man cartoon in the '90s. It was in the Marvel Action Hour with the Fantastic Four, and because my dad and I taped every Marvel cartoon, we stopped taping Iron Man because like we just didn't care and no one cared. like nobody cared about Iron Man. Like it was just like, and then I think it's more Robert Downey Jr. and why he had to be the one. Spoilers, by the way, to to do the snap and all that. Is he's really the one who like changed it where you're like, oh, I don't know who this is, but he's so compelling. I want to
Yeah.
know who this is, and but yeah, I mean, once they lost the rights to the X-Men and Spider-Man, they had to do something. So I
Yeah.
think it worked out for them, which is funny because I couldn't imagine Captain America being someone everyone
Yeah,
liked.
and the other thing, like, I remember before the Avengers came out in 2012, people were completely doubting it. They was like, "This is not gonna work."
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
then when it happened, it's like, "Oh, holy shit, it worked!"
Well, they didn't perceive it in a way where it was cinematic and awesome. It was seen as cheesy, like underwear pants looking guys running around. Like,
Yeah,
my dad read Black Panther growing up. It's his favorite hero. I remember as a kid, he's like, "Yeah, I love the Hulk. I love Black Panther." I'm like, Black Panther? Who? What now? He's like, "Oh yeah, the Black Panther and Doctor Strange." I'm like, "Who are these people?" So yeah, I'm with you where it's like most general audiences don't know about these characters, but Marvel did a great job of really adapting it and making it palatable. Is that the right word?
yeah,
Not
yeah.
even
And
palatable.
then like seeing like that Marvel Studios logo is like, "Oh, if it has that, I'm gonna go see it." So
yeah. And I think also they picked the right directors for each of these.
yeah,
Like when they were really smart about, because I think we talk about all these people doing big movies and stuff, and I think like most of these directors are just like people who had a hit, and Kevin Feige is always like, I'll get Taika Waititi because I like his movies. He'll do a good Thor 3, and no other blockbuster is getting Taika Waititi or
yeah,
Ryan Coogler
and
to do
that's the
Black
best
Panther.
Thor.
Yeah, or the Russo brothers were not huge directors when they
Right.
got the Soldiers. So it's just like those things. They're really smart about.
Oh yeah, that's another reason I
picking the
love
right thing.
Winter Soldier. Is like that's the Russo brothers' first MCU movie, and it's
Yeah,
really good.
yeah. They're just very smart about curating it, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when Avengers like became like a very high grossing movie, and like people were like, just wait until the Justice League movie comes out.
Womp womp.
Well,
DC
wait
really
till-
like fumbled with that
Yeah. I think the only one that everyone liked was Wonder
because like I remember like growing up in the 90s and 2000s, like yeah, Justice League, like the cartoon, and the Superman cartoon and Batman cartoon, like
Yeah.
just do that, but they didn't.
Nope. Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, the MCU did like dominate the 2010s as far as like popular culture goes.
Yeah.
So next thing, your number 7, because my number 7 was like Winter Soldier and Infinity War.
Oh, sorry. My number 7 is Get Out.
Oh, nice.
I was like, I really liked this movie. I was like one of the only white people in the theater, so that was interesting. And I don't know. I like a good horror movie, and I think Jordan Peele did a good job with it. I like horror that like has something to say, and I think this started a whole wave of people taking horror more seriously. This he got an Oscar and all that stuff, but it's very much like a horror film, and I just like Daniel
Yeah,
Kaluuya in it
with
and
Get
all
Out, like what was the last horror movie that was nominated, like for Best Picture?
Silence of the Lambs.
Does that count as horror, or is that more thriller? I don't...
That has been debated, but it's like The Exorcist, Silence of the Lambs, Get Out. That's about it. It's really hard for horror to
Was
get.
Rosemary's Baby? Yeah, that was another one.
I forget if it got a Best Picture, but it got nominated elsewhere. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I like Get Out. I've seen it a bunch of times. There's just so many like funny moments, quotable moments, just scary moments. It's just a good horror tale.
Zane Power saying, "Does the Bye Bye Man have anything to say?"
No. Oh,
The Pee
should I have
Pee
made
Poo
him-
Poo Man.
I guess should I be making a monster trucks joke in one of these? Probably. Maybe
Yeah,
I'll do
yeah,
that.
Get Out's right. I still need to watch Us. I haven't watched that yet.
That's good. It's not as good as Get Out, but it's
Yeah.
still good. So good.
Saber, you saw Get Out, right?
I did. That was really interesting. It's cool to see horror be taken more seriously. And I say that as a person who's I don't know. I'm not much of a cinephile like you guys are, or Laura. Laura loves like the A24. I see that one image where it had like, what's Harry's dad from Spider Man?
But Norman Osborn.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
where he's like, I'm somewhat of a myself thing. I want to make fun of my girlfriend because she loves David Lynch. And I was gonna be like, whenever someone watches a David Lynch movie, and it's like I'm somewhat of a movie critic myself, and it's like,
Yep.
yeah.
If you think that annoys you,
yeah. So that being said, I say this watching other critics talk. I see my girlfriend talk about it too. I know that horror hasn't been taken seriously by the Oscars. It's interesting how certain genres and mediums get just completely jabbed by the Oscars, which makes us realize, no, fuck the Oscars.
yeah.
But yeah, it was cool. Get Out was creepy, good twist, and I was like, that's different. Definitely made me like, it's like, man, white people can be creepy,
Yeah.
or creepy people can be creepy, but in this case, yeah, I can see why that's really uncomfortable to what the movie reveals to be a horrific degree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my number 6, this is breaking, like, I guess my genre streak, because if you've noticed, like, with the past few movies, like, it's mostly been, like, sci-fi, because that's just a genre that I really love.
Yeah.
This one is Whiplash.
Oh.
This is a movie that is, oddly enough, like, kind of like a horror movie, because it makes you, like, super tense just watching J.K. Simmons yell at these kids, and specifically, like, the main character, and just, like, wondering, like, is he gonna let loose? It's a very tense movie. It's like, you would think, like, you're like, what's so tense about a movie about a music class and a teacher? But man,
That's because they are tense, Paleo.
yeah.
Because like I've heard stories of people who do. Oh, sorry about the clock. I've heard folks. It's funny that my clock's 2 minutes late, so that's great. But like I've heard stories of like marching bands and how truly chaotically severe and like drilled they are, especially with college drill, like marching bands. So seeing that, I'm like, it's not unfathomable. But you're right, where it's like, Jesus, this isn't the military, it's a band. Like, this guy's fucking bonkers. He's so serious and tense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that scared me. I've definitely known people who are like that about stuff. It's just like, you just want to stay away from them forever.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever had a teacher like that. I've had, like, teachers yell, but I know they're not yelling at me because I'm always the well-behaved, like, kid. But
That's surprising.
I've never, like, seen a teacher yell at a class for, like, being off tempo or whatever.
Yeah.
Are you rushing or are you dragging?
Well, he takes it seriously.
Yeah.
That's the best of the best of the best, and I think it's a testament that you've got people in this world who are just that nuts about their craft, and they want to be the best, and they want to bring up the best, and it doesn't matter if it's cooking or music or whatever. Like, you're in his world, and you better fucking bring your A game or you're out. And
Yeah.
I think that was the entire point. And it's like, who's going to break first? Is the student going to give up? Is he going to make it? What's going to happen? How far can he go?
Also, Ryan Walsh says that the film got the yellow M&M an Oscar. Yeah, like, J.K. Simmons is great, and I think, like, a lot of people in the animation industry has already known that. But, like, to see him, like, get an Oscar for his performance is really great.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
I love J.K. Simmons. He's phenomenal. His best performance is absolutely the yellow M&M, though.
Yeah. Yellow Eminem, J. Jonah Jameson. Then maybe Whiplash.
Right. Dude, if they're ever, I know we talked about Marvel, but like, yeah, Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark, and no one, literally no one, is better casted than J.K. Simmons as Jameson. Not even close. Not even goddamn close. It feels like he stepped out of the comic book. It's remarkable.
It's great.
It's remarkable.
I love that in the Spider-Man game for PS4, they got someone who like sounded similar enough to him for like the radio show that they do, and it's really great.
That sounds to me like they called him and he said, "Here's my quote." They're like, "Ooh."
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, should I do my 6? I guess. Read 6. Okay.
Yeah, because I already did my 7.
Wait, no, you did your.
Yeah, I just did my 6.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I should keep anyway. So
your 7 was a Get Out, right?
Yes, yeah. So my number 6. I don't know if this is as well known, but it's an action movie that I really like, and I have the soundtrack on my phone, and I've listened to it way too much, and I put this on because it's like a fun kind of comfort thing, I guess. Is The Guest?
I know Jax has watched that movie.
Yeah,
I've been meaning to watch it.
It's sort of like if a guy came back from being Captain America and came back as the Terminator. And it's just like this guy comes to this family's home. This guy comes to this family's home and he thinks they believe he's like their dead son's friend, and he stays with them, and he slowly, like, when they have problems, he like takes care of it, and it just becomes like kind of this horror / action movie. And I know some people don't like the synth and neon light thing with it, but I really dug it. So, and Adam Wingard then went on to do Blair Witch, and which I didn't like, but I don't think I liked Death Note. He wasn't good after this, but this was really good. This was great. And it's just like a perfect kind of like fun, action-y kind of movie. And I got the Blu-ray and I've watched it too many times and stuff. So I had to put it on here.
Cool. Saber, have you seen The Guest?
No, I've not.
Okay. Yeah, that's something I need to watch. Yeah, Jax just said he says he loves it.
See, Jax is with me.
Yeah, Jax has seen like probably every big horror movie in the past decade.
Oh yeah, he did Shudder recommendations for me, and I was like, damn, I do not know horror movies as well as Jax played them. I'll say that right now.
Folks, they underestimate Jax because they're like, oh, he's just a big buff guy trying to act like a nerd. It's like, no.
Yeah, Jax knows his shit.
He knows his stuff. He's a nerd first and a buff guy second.
Yeah. Hey, he's why I've been watching so much Rise of the TMNT. So props to him.
I gotta watch that show still.
Oh, all right. Dude, it's like Studio Trigger. Anyway, sorry, moving on.
My number 5 might be higher on your list because I'm pretty sure it's on your list.
Okay.
And that is Mad Max Fury Road.
I can neither confirm or deny these elements.
So yeah, Mad Max Fury Road.
That movie.
Like it very much surprised me. That was the biggest surprise to me that year, because when I saw the trailer, I was like, they're reviving Mad Max? Who cares?
Yep.
And then I saw the movie, and I was like, holy shit, this is awesome.
Dude, I recall vividly the trailer for it, where it's like, ha, ha, eh, like the kind of orchestra stuff, which it's amazing how like the tone of the trailer was more like big action-y kind of craziness. We're back, here we go. Here's the practical effects. But then like the movie itself, like, God, I am full on fucking immersed. Like I love these characters. I'm following it. I can watch a movie a million times. I am just so here for it. It's visually stunning. It's pretty simple too. It's a chase and then it's a race, and that's perfect. And just the way they build the world. I'm sorry, I'm hijacking your shit.
Yeah, like just the way that they combine the practical effects with the I guess the after effects.
Yes.
In the movie, because one thing I saw that people kept praising were like, oh yeah, the practical effects. I'm like, what about the colorists that worked on this movie?
The
Because
coloring
the
is
color is amazing.
phenomenal.
Yeah,
It's phenomenal.
It pops. It's just like
It's
that movie hits
pleasing.
you.
Dude,
If you're ever sleepy, put that movie on, man. That'll wake you the fuck up.
let me tell you right now, something I also want to give massive props to, the soundtrack. Holy shit. There's a certain song called Brothers in Arms, I believe. And it's that scene where they're going through the gorge. And you got like, I don't know why, this scene hits me on a primal level where you've got Furiosa and Max and the brides of Joe. And it's there's a shot that I fucking love. It's one of my favorite shots in cinema ever. Because I'll make this fast because you know how I get. Just them being chased down by these bikers. You got an army breathing down your neck. You're just hanging on for your goddamn life. The way the song's playing up to it feels like there's a really cool shot with the music where like the engine's on fire and they hold the sand and the sand covers up the engine and put it out. And there's a cool shot where the camera zooms into the little tube going like it breathes in the air. And it truly felt like you have these people where they just get their head above water for a second to breathe before they're brought right back down. And I felt that. And I love it. It gives me goosebumps. I'm just thinking about it. I'm getting goosebumps. I love it. That I remember being in the theater when I saw that because I was like, holy shit. Like, also, I blared the soundtrack driving home, probably a little bit too fast. I love that movie. And I'm so curious to see what they're going to do with the Furiosa spinoff.
Oh, yeah.
I'm worried. Not that, like, I love Furiosa. And the thing is, it's more a Furiosa story than Max's story. Yeah. Like, Max is just a drifter who's lost, and Furiosa is the one where he finds himself in her, and I don't know, like, okay, makes him believe he can push on. It's so fucking good. I love it. 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 So that's why Mad Max is number 6 for me. Sorry, it's one of my favorite movies. I actually want to do. I love it so much. I actually might do a video about it on my main channel. That's how much I love it.
You should.
7 people watch it. You say cartoons?
It practically is. It's Wacky Racers, the movie.
All right.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
What do you mean? Furiosa's Penelope Pit Stop and Mad Max is Dastardly Dog.
You got to do the video. It's like why Mad Max Fury Road is Wacky Racers, the movie.
We could look.
See some biker blowing up and.
If you give me enough time, I could make a character sheet up. This person is this person in Wacky Races.
Yep.
Immortan Joe is totally Dick Dastardly.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
Dick. But Jim, you're number 5.
Oh, not as fun. So I feel bad, but we didn't tell each other what these were, by the way.
Yeah, it was a complete surprise. Like,
I was like, okay, this one I am almost positive no one watching this will know. So analytics are going to go sky high right now. It's okay. We were just dorking out, and I have to be serious now. Number 5 is this movie. It's called The Arbor. It's a really cool documentary. No, not Arbor Day. Not Arbor Day. It's just called The Arbor. And it's about this. It's sort of okay. So this is probably me being a dorky cinephile person, but it's a cool documentary because basically about this woman who is a playwright, and I've never heard this woman's plays before seeing this, so I'm not anyway. But it's basically like you cut between her plays that are based on her real life to interviews of her talking about that real life to people who live with her, and filmed recreations, and you kind of get into this weird what is the truth kind of thing, like what is universal truth. And I always found it really fascinating because I think most documentaries don't do the subtextual stuff that narrative does, and they usually people are like documentaries are great because you learn something, but this like went really metatextual on the whole idea of, well, this was her version, but then when she wrote it, she did it this way. But then when she did this TV interview, it went this way. But then if we actually film it, it looks this way. And then you like, and it's hard to explain, but I've been like thinking about it for 10 years. And it keeps like, I don't know, I like the theory of it. So I guess I know this is like, yeah, anyway, but it's a really great documentary. It's my only documentary on here. And it's just become a favorite just because every time I watch it, I'm like just thinking about all the ideas within it. So there we go.
Interesting. Yeah, Mark Perlo is in the chat. Says sounds very Millennium Actress. Oh.
Yes, but not as trippy. Maybe just in your brain or something. I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Moving on.
All right, we're getting into the final stretch here. So my number 4. This is where I'm. The genres are going to be a bit different. My number 4 is A Monster Calls.
Interesting.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think the reason I have it so high up is that I watched it at a time like because it came out in early 2016 or late 2015, one of those years. And it came out like a few months after my grandma passed away. So that was a movie to see like after that, because that movie is like completely about loss. Because I remember seeing trailers for it and like the Liam Neeson tree monster thing, and I thought like, oh, that going to be like a thing that's like real or not real with the kid, but yeah, this monster like comes to the kid every night telling him a story about like some type of loss, and it's very interesting how it deals with talking about like how a kid views loss. So that impacted me quite a bit after seeing it, and then I showed it to a few people. I remember I showed it to Hirasashi one night, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it like anytime I watch it, it always gets me choked up. So
yeah, it's a good movie. I forgot about that movie. Damn. Yeah, and guy directed Jurassic Park: Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah.
There we go.
Connection full circle.
Saber, did you see A Monster Calls?
No, I don't watch things that make me cry. I'm too much of a man. No, I remember seeing the trailer for it, and I'm like, this looks weird. I remember you were like weeping on the phone, like crying. I was like, who took your lunch money? And you're like, the movie was good. No, I'm glad you liked it. I'm surprised. I think you're the only person, Paleo, I've heard anybody talk about it. That's it.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. I recommend watching it.
It surprised me as well when I saw it. I was like, whoa, this is really good. But yeah. I guess I should do 4.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a sci-fi movie.
Nice.
It's called, it's sort of obscure, I guess, but it's called Coherence. It's
I need to watch that. I've been meaning to watch that for so long.
Oh, you should. I forget. Yeah. I know it was on Shudder. I don't know where it is now.
Because I've seen it like being pushed on like Netflix stuff before, but I never ended up watching it.
No, it's so basically what it is this group of friends are having a dinner party, and then they find out that a comet is going to go overhead very close, and they find out when the comet goes over close to Earth, basically it opens up all these different dimensions. So if they go outside and then come back to the house, the house they come back to isn't the same dimension that they left. So
that's really cool.
So it's like not a big cast. It has I think Xander from Buffy and like a few, like he might be the biggest name in it. And it was actually all improv, which it does not feel that way.
It's all improv?
That's what they claim. I still don't believe that, by the way. But it's just a cool idea that like when you see them just kind of go out in the dark, it's like an old 40s, 50s, 60s sci-fi movie because they just go out in the night and when they come back into the house, it's a different dimension. And so like in some like they're all evil and some they they're weird and some they have this opinion. It's just like such a cool concept and I just like really thought it was cool.
For some reason, I keep thinking of the Treehouse of Horror episode with Homer coming back to the future. It's like, like sometimes there's lizard people, sometimes it's raining donuts.
Oh yeah, all those No, I mean it's sort of that, but it's like it's an interesting one. And sometimes the other people in the other dimensions know, and sometimes they don't. It's crazy, but it is
Yeah, that sounds really cool. Because I remember like I keep seeing like a recommended because for like different sci-fi movies, but I just never watched it.
Or no, it's a great sci-fi movie. I've been pushing it for a long time. I got to see I was lucky to see it in the every time. You even wonder if the protagonist is the original protagonist or it's a different one from a different dimension. So that's like how crazy it gets.
Wow.
So, yeah. Yeah.
All right. We're getting on our top 3 here, so we might actually be able to like talk about animated films for Jim.
Okay, cool.
So number 3, this is also a non-sci-fi. I guess a Monster Calls isn't really sci-fi. It's more like so number 3, this is probably the most realistic one on my list besides Whiplash.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, no, number 2 is sort of realistic too.
Okay.
But number 3 is Blue Ruin.
Oh.
Yeah. Cause I watched it on a whim, like because I saw it on Netflix. For some reason, I don't know why. I was like, I thought this was a French movie when I put it on my watch list, and then I started watching. I was like, wait, this is in English.
You should have.
I must have mixed it up with some other movie. So, but when I watched it, I was like, this is like uncomfortably real with how it plays out.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like one of those thriller movies where it's like I could see how this could happen in real life, like with all the different events that this guy is going on to get revenge, like and how like a revenge plot can go wrong, very very wrong.
Yeah, it's like a revenge movie from someone who isn't good at
Yeah,
taking revenge, which I like it, and it isn't played for like laughs.
yeah,
I think there are
because
funny parts.
it
but
makes you feel very like uncomfortable at times.
yeah, it really does. It's like it is like if John Wick, but if John Wick sucked.
Yeah, which this director also had another movie in the decade called Green Room.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Green Room.
Which I think I might like Blue Ruin a bit more, but they're still both really good movies.
Well, Green Room made my honorable mentions for this. Blue Ruin got close, but they're both. And he made another one which I haven't watched, which is a Netflix original, and I don't know what he's doing now. But that director like really started off right because that's a weird revenge movie. Paleo surprising me with some of these. It's like, whoa, didn't expect that. There you go, Paleo.
Yeah, it's just like it. A lot of the movies where I become my favorites is like something where I just go in blind and I don't know what it's about. I was like, oh yeah, this was recommended, so I'll watch it, and then I watch it and ended up being like, wow, that was really great.
That's always cool when that happens, But yeah, okay, so I should do my 3, right? All right.
Yeah, Saber, I haven't shown you Blue Ruin, have I?
You've not.
I know I watched it with Matt before because we watched both Green Blue Ruin the same night. So.
Oh, that's an epic night. It's an epic night.
Yeah, you're number 3, so we're getting our top 3s.
So I had a lot of these kind of like coming of age movies to pick from, and I had pretty big experiences with ones like 8th Grade and Lady Bird, both of which I thought about putting, but the one that I think was probably the best one for me still is Frances Ha, which was not directed by Greta Gerwig, but stars her and written by her.
So
and
I was gonna say, like, when I was like catching up with movies earlier this year or earlier last year, Francis Ha was one of those.
Yeah.
I don't remember what happened.
Oh, okay. Well, it's basically like the difference between.
I was like, I watched that movie. I don't remember.
Well, the difference between those other two and this one is so much like this is more about like your life post college and kind of figuring out post college like how to sort of be.
Yeah, I'm like trying to remember in my brain what was that movie about.
Yeah. Oh no, it's okay. I just really liked it because we don't get a lot of period in general that kind of get it so much, and I thought she was really compelling in it. And it's always one that like feels very specific and real. And although I think Lady Bird and Eighth Grade are also very great, it's just this one sort of sticks with me. And I also
like if I watch like a couple of scenes, I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember, because I don't know what happened, because like I saw it on my checklist of the movies I watched in the past decade, because I was like going through them, like making my list, and I was like, I watched that? I don't remember.
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool. It's but anyway, it made me first. I didn't really like Greta Gerwig before this. Made me like her. I don't actually like the director that much, other than this movie and one other. But I don't know, and I like that idea of being sort of in your 20s in New York. Appealed to me oddly enough, and and I just thought it like did that perfectly. Just how quirky and odd she is, and it kind of like takes place over a year. I'd say I think it's a year. It's been a little bit since I watched it, but just you get kind of snippets of sort of like this weird lost year of her trying to kind of figure it out, and it was just really great at that. So,
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm gonna have to watch some scenes and like try to remember that movie, because I'm so surprised when I saw it. I'm just like, when did I watch this?
Oh, you don't even remember?
Yeah, I don't even remember watching it.
Yeah, well, it's really good. You should check it out again.
Yeah, I'll have to rewatch it and see if I remember anything.
Yeah.
Because that rarely happens to me with a movie. I'm like,
yeah,
how did I not remember? So my number 2, this one's actually, I think, the only biopic. Yeah, it's the only biopic on my list. And it's Love and Mercy. It's about Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys. And it goes between 2 different times in his life. One where he's making pet sounds, and it becomes like not successful, but like it's critically acclaimed, but it didn't really do that well. And then like doing Smiley Smile, and then like just not that not working out, and then the other part of it with him in the 80s, where he just got out of this big depression, and he has this manager slash psychiatrist that is very controlling, played by Paul Giamatti. And it's a very like interesting story how like Brian Wilson like was almost completely out of control, like not out of control, but like not in control of his life, because other people were controlling his
life.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a very interesting. I think I like the movie a lot because it deals a lot with just anxiety. With how he dealt with that throughout his career.
That's interesting.
So, yeah, no, and also Paul Dano as young Brian is really great, and then you have John Cusack as older Brian.
Yeah, I know that Brian Wilson. I read a story that he went to see a movie in the late 60s, and someone, when he walked in the movie, said hello, freaked him out so much he didn't go to another movie until E.T.
Wow.
So he missed the 70s.
Yeah.
He didn't see a movie, and there's a lot of good movies. Like, he didn't see Star Wars because of that. Yeah. But he saw E.T., which I heard he liked. Anyway, I don't remember that in the movie, but
being truly famous sounds horrific.
Yeah, because that's another of the movies
what's that like, bro?
Yeah, that's one of the movies I showed Saber and Laura. And like that scene where they're at the dinner table and he constantly hears the knives and forks and everything is like that's like a real like anxiety attack. When somebody's like so overwhelmed with senses that they're just freak out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man, I need
But
to
also like
rewatch that
just
one.
like Brian Wilson with creating pet sounds. Like that was like mostly him, like creating
yeah.
that album.
That's a great album.
People don't know this, but Paleo he knows his music. He really
Oh
does.
yeah, he used to do music reviews way back in. I don't think
Yeah. I did like my top 25 albums I own, and like I did like a ranking of the Alice in Chains discography.
Yeah, like you need to be like Todd in the Shadows or something.
But yeah, Love and Mercy. It's a great biopic. It's probably my favorite out of the ones that I saw in the 2010s. So that's my number 2.
Okay, that's cool. Or I guess I should do 2.
Yeah, you're number 2.
Or 2. Sorry. My number 2 is Drive, which was
I actually watched that recently.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So I knew what this was based on going on, which is sort of based on a Walter Hill movie called The Driver. But I like its kind of simplicity. Again, much like The Guest, I really like the synth soundtrack. I've recently found out it's uh, a, a movie a lot of lame guys say on dates to make themselves look deep, which I did not know until recently, but I'm not back in. Because I've heard that about David Fincher, and people were like, "No, guys, do that with Drive too." I was like, "Really? Oh, I really like that movie. That sucks. Damn it." Oh well. But I just like I kind of like what are called like deconstructionist movies, where it's like really simple, very economical. And in this, he does that. And it's just like really great, well edited sequences. I don't think I liked Nicholas Winding Refn as much as I liked him directing this one movie. And same with Ryan Gosling. Like he's perfect at not saying very much, being like, the silent guy in the car, doing these crazy jobs with cool synth music going on. And yeah, it's just a cool movie. I got to see it. Okay, so here's a true life Jim story. My wife and I saw it at a Q&A, and the director was there. And they said, "Oh, the cast is going to show up." This is 2011 when this movie came out. I want to preface the year on this.
20 years ago.
20, yeah. And so we thought it was going to be Ryan Gosling, and he didn't come out. But Oscar Isaacs plays a small role in this, and he wasn't what he is now. And he showed up. My wife were like, "Oh, Oscar Isaacs, whatever. Let's leave."
Wow.
Never mind.
And then he like asked some questions, and we were just like not feeling. I was like, wow, this is so funny because you never know. That's happened to me a few times where you're like, that's boring. And then like a year later, you're like, oh, that was stupid. Oh, well. Anyway. All right. Yeah.
Oscar Isaac.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, number 1. Should we do drum rolls? Should I get a drum? No.
Pale's number 1 is going to be Minions 2.
No, he's going to go Minions 1. Are you kidding?
Minions 1 purist.
He'll be like,
Saber, your mic's doing that thing, by the way.
Oh. Lame. Hold on.
But number 1, any guesses?
Well, it's not a Jurassic Park. You said that,
Yeah.
right? Oh, Saber disappeared. It's not. Is it a sci-fi movie?
It is a sci-fi movie.
Oh, man, I'm not sure. I feel like I should know. And what is it?
Arrival.
You want to say? Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, like this I think what really like surprised me about the movie. I hate this constantly using that same phrase. Like it surprised me about the movie. I was just trying to think of like a different descriptor. But by the way, Saber, my number 1 is Arrival.
Wow.
Yeah,
since he just arrived. Someone, by the way, in the chat, Mark Perlow guessed it. Good luck.
nice.
Yeah.
Um, like just from the beginning of the movie, how it felt when like they're like, oh shit, aliens are here. Like that feeling of like nobody in the class in a college classroom, because I was just thinking about like that uh uh like if I was in the community college and I went to class and like barely anybody's there, and then everybody checking their phones and seeing what's happening. I'm like, that like instantly like grabbed me in the movie. And then from there, like the whole movie being about communication, um, it was just a very interesting theme. Um, and just like seeing the aliens for the first time in the movie as well, just that build up to that, it's very eerie.
It's truly alien.
Yeah,
Well,
very
there
weird
were-
designs too.
I always liked about that movie how the idea that their language and their way of thinking interpreted time and language differently. So the movie interpreted things
Yeah,
differently.
yeah,
when
like
it's-
that's one of those movies where like it's you get it when you watch the the first time, but also like the second time is like, oh, that's what this means. Um, but yeah, because like I'll never get that first time watch with it again, because it it's one of those things where if I guess if you don't see it coming, like it's hard to see what's coming there because there's a bunch of like flashbacks
Yeah.
and everything, and you're like, what is this? What's going on? Because it's told very non-linearly a bit, with those flashbacks put in.
Yeah.
But it
is.
makes sense by the end about like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I actually, I don't know if you remember when this movie came out, but it came out the Friday after Trump won the election. And watching a movie where everyone worked together to achieve a goal was I actually cried more at that than the movie because it was really scary then, and I think I get pretty emotional when I did my review because I was like oh my god, like working together in a movie,
It was like that's one of the things about like if aliens ever made contact is like that's the one thing that would unite everybody on the planet.
yeah, it just felt sort of beautiful that I mean, I think they have parts where like, the countries aren't talking.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff.
The countries are like trying different methods.
Yeah,
Lots of different strategies from different countries sharing what they discovered. Oh, Paris figured this out, and the Russians are trying this, and we're sharing information, and trying to make progress. What I love the most about it is how the heptapods rather, they felt a lot like fatherly or parental figures holding the hand of a young race, going, "We're going to teach you. We're going to teach you
Yeah.
how to grow up, and this is the test." And I also think it's funny that 3,000 years in the future, when the Heps call on humanity, our species walks up and we're like, "We're ready," and the Heps give us a pickle jar, and they're like, "Open it." We did it. This is what they needed us for opening a pickle jar. Actually, that drove me crazy because I was like, "What could they need our help for?" It's just a thing. They never specify. It's just a nebulous thought of like they need
Yeah.
to call on us in the future, and we owe them one. It's
Yeah.
interesting how it ties in with the main character and her own personal life. That
Yeah.
caught me off guard. I was like, "What?" I was like, that was different. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it's my favorite movie of the 2010s and my favorite sci-fi movie of the 2010s. It might be my favorite sci-fi movie in general.
Whoa.
Well,
good
I mean,
sci-fi.
I guess Jurassic Park is a sci-fi movie, so never mind. I almost forgot.
I mean, did they
Rival
really use
sci-fi-
science? No, I'm joking.
They pray to dinosaur god. Arrival is nice sci-fi because it actually is like the thinker's sci-fi, which you don't get. Sometimes it falls more into Star
Yeah.
Wars, or I mean, I know Star Wars is more fantasy sci-fi, but still, like it's not just big lasers and spaceships. It's like, no, we're talking about like species communicating and higher beings and thought.
This is Jane Powers with a super chat saying, "Twist, an alternate ending where Trump nuked the aliens."
I mean, yeah, probably.
I like how at the end though, where they're like holding our hands, trying to teach certain symbols, and they're like, "All right, like here's everything." It's like, oh shit, we know nothing. like they've been holding our hands so far, and now we're really getting like how their language is actually done. It's not just a simple circle; it's a lot more than good stuff.
All right, Jim.
Okay,
Number one,
so
which I might have already said.
I mean, I think people sort of know.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's going to be monster. No, no. I think my favorite, and I would probably say right now, what I think is probably the best movie of the decade would be Mad Max Fury Road. I just love that movie. I think you guys probably remember around the time I saw it, you could not talk me out of not thinking that movie was genius. Because, and I know the complaints about it, but I just don't feel that because it's just such a tight, compact, insane throw right of a movie. And I am a Mad Max fan before seeing this film. And I would not expect to see a new entry be up there with like Road Warrior, which I thought was previous favorite. I think I might. Some have said they like this more than Road Warrior. I almost still don't want to say that, but it might have like become the best Mad Max movie, which is insane.
It is.
Oh yeah, I watched like all the Mad Max movies before going to go see Fury Road, and I'm like, this is way better than all those.
Yeah,
you said, Jim, it's tighter. It's so much tighter.
It's just like his masterpiece because he had like over a decade they were making storyboards and planning this movie while he was doing Happy Feet. He was spending an hour on his lunch like, maybe we'll have Furiosa do this and stuff, and like they kept building and building and building because Mel Gibson was supposed to be in it in the early 2000s, and it feels like a movie that people were just working on slowly, and then finally they got to make this maximum huge opus of a car racing movie. And the cool thing about each of the Mad Max movies is each of them get bigger and each of them are different stories, and there isn't really continuity other than the first one setting up what happened, his origin, and then the second one kind of do, but after that they lose all that. And I like this idea of just like awesome, amazing tales with this guy Max. And this movie, like I've watched this late at night, and then I have a hard time calming down afterwards because it's just such a huge explosion of a movie. There's just so many cool shots in it. It just, I don't know. It's a kind of like epic, huge director statement because George Miller's like really, he's pretty old. He's up there. He's from the 70s filmmaking. And the fact that he has a movie with this much energy is insane because most older directors, it's longer, it's slower, it's references nobody cares about, but not this shit.
It's meaningful action because I actually care. Like I care about Max. I care about Furiosa. I feel like everything's like you said the word tight. I completely agree. It feels tight, and it like, and I feel like the way you're thrown into it too, where you're in Max's shoes and you kind of know, most folks know about Mad Max and you're like, okay, it's a post-apocalyptic car desert world. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then just seeing these unsung hero of this movie that is probably my favorite though is Nux. Like him being
Nux was great, yeah.
Random side character. What a great redemption arc. I love it. Everything you need to know about this world is said so well through its characters. With Immortan Joe controlling the water, with the bullet farmer, with the people eater, with the you got these random vulture guys and they speak Russian. So you're probably like, what the fuck? Like it's extra so many layers so you can keep on peeling. But initially it's not like the layers that you haven't explored on your first viewing ruin the movie where it's bloated. No, it still feels tight and there's more for you to dig into if you want to, but at the core of it is a very good action movie. And it's told so effectively. And I love it.
It's just there's so much, and I mean, you were saying Paleo was saying before about the color, because the practical effects got so much attention. But I think it's like kind of the combination of everything is like kind of what I like about it is it's so much the whole idea of what filmmaking movies are because it's just all these different parts, all these people doing at the top of their game. Because all these guys that work with George Miller for 30 years and to have this end big statement towards the end of, they're all up there. I'm not trying to be offensive or ageist, but like for real, like if this is it, like damn, you guys went out on it bang. Because
Yeah.
some of those people came out of retirement to make Fury Road. Like the editor was like an 80-year-old woman who was like, okay, I'll do this, man. Fine. For you. And it just like, but I like how the practical effects work with the little CG and the color they did put in it. But then the practical effects are out of like the silent era. I mean, it's just insane. Like the stuff those guys do in this movie are crazy. It just there's almost too much to appreciate. It's like that's the kind of thing with it. I could do a whole 2 hour going nuts about this, and I'm sure an hour later I'd be like, oh right, that thing. It's just like
we gotta do a video. We gotta do a video just going into
oh, we should. I have the Art of book. It's one of my few Art of book purchases.
The little person who is one of Immortan Joe's son. I actually, because the guy's passed away from complications, so rest in peace. But it's really neat seeing how like he had a YouTube channel and a video where he's like, hey guys, I got casted. This is so cool. And just reading through the comments where folks were like, rest in peace, he had a really good role. Cause like just even like his few lines, like it stuck with me where he's like, go see what's agitating dad. And he like pushes Rick it's out of because I mean again, it doesn't have to be said to give you an idea of what's going on for certain characters where obviously this is a very sexist world. It's slavery. Immortan Joe is a guy because I read the comics too. And Immortan Joe's a guy where he's like, because he canonically had 3 sons, and the movie's only 2. Well, 3, but we only see 2. The Herculean idiot that's Rictus, the super smart small person. His first son was apparently like riddled with STDs and like disease. So Immortan Joe's like, I've got to have a healthy heir, and to lose that with Furiosa, like, man, he's on the fucking warpath. Like he's going to murder Furiosa for stealing his son because he doesn't care about the girls.
Yeah,
he doesn't. He just wants a baby. That's it. He wants a legacy because he's going to become the king of the new world.
I mean, it does. The whole film's about this idea of legacy, and it's like, and then Furiosa and Mad Max like destroy the whole thing.
Yeah,
and also when folks talk about like, I gotta be careful with this because I say this as a white guy, but when folks talk about like films where it's champion for women and stuff, and I get bummed out where I'm like, dude, like Mad Max Fury Road is fantastic for women characters because it's well. And I feel like a lot
of the cast is female.
Yeah, well, apparently George brought in like some lady who was like in women's studies, and he's like, I don't want to be an idiot. I want to tell a good story for women's perspective. So can you really inform me and help me really sharpen these characters up? And she did a great job with George, and they all did a good job because these are you really feel it, the pressure of this world they live in, and how they're just trying to get away and be free, and it's like you're stuck, and it's like Jesus. And Max is a good ally. Again, like it's called Mad Max, but he's not like I'm Max and I'm here to save the day. I'm the man, and he's after me. It's like no, Max is just a drifter who fell into the scene, and then he got caught up with their story, and I'm like, that's cool. I like that a lot. Man, I'm so glad you all have Mad Max. It's so good.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's great.
So I guess we can go over some honorable mentions before we go into Jim's like animated movies.
Okay, I'm probably just gonna list mine because it'll.
Yeah, let's hear it out.
Go on. Or do you should go first, Paleo.
Yeah, because I have a few. Because originally I was going to do like a top 20 for my my list because that's what I did for cartoons and animated movies in January. But for live action movies because I moved around a bunch of things too. So let's see, Baby Driver, I really liked. That was a very interesting movie. Very good sound design in that.
Agreed.
Her, that was That's a very interesting like sci-fi movie.
Mhm.
About artificial intelligence. Um, Inside Llewyn Davis,
Mm.
which is about an artist that is a musician that is down on his luck. He carries a cat throughout the whole movie, which is really great. Um, and then The Hunt, um, or I get because this is the only foreign film I had on here was a Yagtin, I think. That's The Hunt.
Mhm.
It stars Mads Mikkelsen, or Mads
Oh,
Mikkelsen.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I've heard of this. Okay, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's about this guy who's accused of like being a pedophile in his town, but he didn't do anything.
Hmm.
So it's that's a very interesting movie. Ex Machina, um, that that's Oscar Isaac. A bunch of like the Star Wars people were in a bunch of other sci-fi films
Yeah,
before
they
Star
were.
Wars. And also that other guy was in there. I forgot the name of the actor, but he's also
Oh,
also got one
Brendan
in Star Wars.
Gleeson,
But
I think.
like Ex Machina, like in a bunch of a few other films on this list, I do like because like I like intimate thrillers like that. Let's see, Kick Ass. I know is like Jax's favorite film.
Oh, I
Um,
didn't know that.
yeah.
I actually know the guy who, or I knew the guy who tried to fight Kick-Ass. Anyway, yeah, I knew him for a little bit, not anymore. But yeah.
Let's see, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Which I watched both of those movies, Kick Ass and Scott Pilgrim, the same year. And also with both of them, I read the graphic novel and comic before seeing both of them.
Oh, okay.
And they were surprisingly like good, like as far as like adaptations go. And then The Cabin in the Woods, which I rewatched recently with Saber.
Fun.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah, the best thing about The Cabin in the Woods is just go in blind, because I remember like seeing trailers for that and people were like, "Oh, this looks boring," but no, it's nothing.
No.
It's anything but boring.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, because like the trailers were like intentionally being like, "Oh yeah, this is just like a regular horror movie," but it's like, no, it's not like a regular horror movie.
No, not at all.
Pacific Rim,
Mm.
which is really good. Like the just the weight of the robots and everything is like really good in that.
Good physics.
This one I have a love-hate relationship with. Interstellar, because I really like the visuals in it. The soundtrack is amazing. Like this is good, just this like space adventure. But then the sort of the theme of the movie with love and everything, I'm like, that's stupid.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Like everything
is
else of
stupid.
the movie is a fantastic, but it's just like that core story theme is like that's dumb.
Quote Laura, it's good until it's not good.
Yeah.
Nightcrawler.
Mhm.
That's a great movie with his guy
Nightcrawler.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah.
That is a good movie.
Swiss Army Man.
Oh,
Yeah, with Paul
surprise.
Dano and Daniel Radcliffe. That's a hilarious movie.
Mm-hmm.
It actually has a Jurassic Park reference in it.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Hardcore Henry. This is like the best video game movie of the 2010s. It's not based on anything. Because it's just a first-person movie.
Yeah.
It's like really cool.
That is a cool one.
It has like very like video game tropes and everything in it. I guess I can put this with Parasite, Snowpiercer, because they're sort of talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
But Snowpiercer is very much more sci-fi than Parasite.
Mm-hmm.
The Shallows. That's one of those intimate thrillers that I do like.
Oh, okay. I remember that. Sorry.
Yeah, the Shallows with the shark.
Oh, with with
Blake Lively.
with Blake Lively.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
the name of the bird? Oh, I kept. What's the name of the bird? It's a funny name, and now I can't remember. Anyway, Steven Seagal, I think. Was it? Wasn't it Steven Seagal? I think it is. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. Oh
That
yeah.
is a good
There
one.
was a super chat from Saint Bauer says, so not the Hunt that came out this year. No, not that one.
No.
Let's see. What else did I have here? The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. That was a Netflix movie
Oh,
that came
really?
out.
I'm
It's
surprised.
yeah. It's an anthology movie.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of different Western short stories, and I thought it was that's very interesting. It's
Yeah.
really fun. Let's see. I think I had a couple more here. Annihilation.
That was good.
Yeah, Annihilation with that's such a weird sci-fi movie.
That is a weird one.
Yeah. And then of course Jurassic World.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. There's our boy.
Yeah, Jurassic, just because like first just seeing the Jurassic franchise come back in the spotlight was like so exciting for me. I was like finally, because I've been hearing about Jurassic Park 4 for like 15 years.
Yeah.
So
It actually felt like that was never going to happen. Till
yeah,
it happened.
and then it finally happened, and I was like, oh my god, it's happening. And like
Yeah.
because when I saw the trailer, and then they posted up the website as if Jurassic World was like an actual place, and I was like, this is so
Yeah.
cool. Because like the thing is, like, people, I'm gonna defend Jurassic World here and the Jurassic franchise in general, because people were like, oh, didn't they already open a Jurassic Park? Why would people go back to a Jurassic Park? It's like, no, they didn't open a Jurassic Park in the first movie. That was just a trial run with the paleontologists. You didn't see a bunch of people running around. This was like Jurassic World, where it was like, oh, you're like going to SeaWorld or something.
Yeah. Yeah. How would anyone know
Yeah.
about that even?
Yeah. Because
So,
like the whole thing about them, like, you know, covering up the San Diego incident too with the second movie with Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. This is going to be the hottest take here, is that I think the Jurassic franchise has better like storytelling and lore than the sequel trilogy of Star Wars. Like, it's better told, I think, because everything makes sense.
Hot diarrhea is better than constipation.
Like,
I
if you look
mean-
into the lore and everything of the Jurassic franchise, it's much better. It's
Well,
it's
they-
like much more like thought out.
I will say they planned it out, and I don't think Star Wars did.
Yeah, I don't think Star Wars did that at all.
I think they just let two directors go, and then they're like, "Oh, damn it, we didn't think about that too good."
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love Jurassic franchise. It's one of those franchises where no matter what they do, I'm gonna like it.
True. True.
Like, I do wish Fallen Kingdom was better, but I mean, I still liked it. Like, I wish they would have leaned more heavily on like the weird haunted mansion horror aspect of it.
Yeah. No, say that movie I sometimes think about more because in my brain I'm like, that should be better, shouldn't it? Like, there's
Yeah.
so many opportunities for that to be really cool, but then when you sit down and watch it, it just doesn't work. Like
Yeah.
the thing is, the house should have been its own movie, and combining
Yeah.
they didn't have it. I don't know. They just didn't. That house would have been. That whole premise could have been cool, but
Yeah, though I
There's
do
two
like
movies in one. It was like cut right down the middle.
yeah. I do like that Camp Cretaceous came out and was like, wow, this is actually a pretty good cartoon. Like,
Yeah.
based on and I had been waiting for a Jurassic Park cartoon like my whole life, so
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Apparently,
Yeah, Brooklyn.
Apparently. Yeah, it's a popular name, but anyway. Should I just do my animated ones instead of my honorable mentions?
No, you can do your honorable mentions, and then we can
Uh,
go into how long do you have?
Oh, it is getting a little late. Well, I'll just do it really quick. I won't spend as much time. I'll do if that's cool.
Yeah, if you want to do your honorable mentions, then we can go into animated movies for you.
Yeah. So, first off, when I started this, I thought we were doing best, so my honorable mentions are a little messy. I'm gonna say that, but uh, I had The Social Network, which I think is like the big, great, one of the classics of this decade. Moonlight, Stranger by the Lake, which is a French thriller, has a lot of nudity in it. Uh, there's like a lot of dicks in it. I'm just gonna say that, but it's really great. So anyway, sorry, I don't know why I put that in there. Anyway, I mean the warning. Sorry, Meek's cut off because I really like the director Kelly Reichardt, and it's kind of a interesting travel movie. Is all I'll say. I also had her in my honorable mentions. Which is also a great sci-fi, which I think people forgot about. Animal Kingdom, which is a great Australian crime film. It's where you got Ben Mendelsohn and Joel Edgerton from. Is from this movie. It's kind of a weirder, artier, strange one, but it's really, really cool. Oh, also Jackie Weaver. So a lot of people, big actors, came from this movie. Under the Skin, which was with Scarlett Johansson. It's a
Oh yeah,
artier sci-fi
yeah. Me
movie.
and Saber
Yeah,
watched that.
it's strange, but I dig that one. Green Room, which I
Nice.
really like Green Room.
Yeah.
Lady Bird, and Eighth Grade, and then finally, and I think this wasn't as big of a deal as it should have been, which was The Other Side of the Wind, which was the Orson Welles movie that came out 2 years ago. And now that Mank is coming out Friday, the thing with this movie though is it's very much 70s Hollywood and made in 70s Hollywood. So if you don't know that world, I don't know what you get out of it, but it's still really great. And it was cool seeing Orson Welles critique the 70s in 2018 because Netflix made this movie happen. I think they deserve a lot of credit for that because not everyone is gonna talk about that. So, but if you like Mank, Netflix seems to be very pro Orson Welles, and I thought it was a great movie, so I wanted to put it on there.
Zane Power says, "Is Green Room better than Green Book?"
Oh my! I wish they did an MCU like cinematic crossover.
Oh, before
be
we go
amazing.
into your anime movies, I'll go over some of the super chats we had earlier that we can because we had the technical difficulties. So let's see. Deli Teen says, "So I suppose you heard about David Prose's passing." Yeah, we did talk about that before the stream went dead. Editman RGG2 says, "Since we'll be talking about the movies of the 2010s, what are your opinions on what are your opinions then, and what is your standing on that movie now?"
What movie?
Oh yeah, about opinions then about a movie, and what is your opinion on that movie now? I mean, I guess we kind of did that.
Yeah, I think we did that. I thought we did that.
There goes the clock. So Jack's played saying, and then I said, "Oatmeal, are you crazy?" And then Spider-Verse became the best thing on the planet. I'm sure we'll talk about that. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I will.
Zane Power is saying, "Talk about Blindside."
I think people want that review, and a bunch of people have told me, "Don't do that review."
Austin saying, "Jim, you better talk about 8th grade."
Oh well, it got in there, sorta.
And then Edit Man again saying, "Can I just say thank goodness we got less CGI garbage in the 2010s compared to 2000s where Hollywood exploited it."
I don't know about that. But
yeah, it's not that Hollywood exploited it. It's like the CG just got better.
Yeah,
like a lot better. Like because there are certain scenes that are CG that you don't realize are CG.
Yeah,
in movies nowadays.
True.
The Zane Power is asking Jim once you said you wish movies would take a year off so you could catch up on the ones you missed. What happened to that, bro? Yeah, we talked about that.
I think we did.
Okay, yeah, I think that was all the super chats here that we missed from earlier. So animated movies, I do have my list from January, so I can go over those if you want, if as far as what I thought of them. But you can also check out my video on my channel my top 20 animated movies of 2010s. But Jim, you want to go ahead and
Okay. I want to preface these are in no particular order. And these are favorite. But they're some pretty big ones. And there might be one that is controversial, I guess. But I put Zootopia.
nice.
How could you not?
Yeah, it's
Zootopia is
great.
Zootopia is
I
great.
think that's
I
like
put-
that was my number yeah, my number 5.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Zootopia is just surprising and still holds up, and it's also a great
Great what?
buddy cop movie.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Which we don't get anymore. As well as like if you watch the old buddy cop movies where it's like also about racism, Zootopia is like really good at doing that without doing what those 70s and 80s movies did, which don't age well. I put Anomalisa, which
That was also on my list.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Not enough people talk about that anymore, but I remember coming out of that being like in a daze. Like the whole concept of like that everyone had the same voice was so interesting and
Yeah.
fascinating. I really
Yeah, I
liked
didn't
Anomalisa.
realize it at first, and I was like, oh, dang.
Yeah, at first it takes you a minute and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's about the world, and you're like, oh, that's so dark. But it's a really great animated movie. I feel like
Yeah.
it should be taught.
I love how in the beginning he's like, go to the Cincinnati Zoo.
Oh, I need to rewatch that one. The next one I put is The Illusionist.
That was in my honorable mentions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, I really love this movie. There's no doubt.
I've probably watched all of the movies that you have on your list because, like,
Oh,
as
I'm
far as
sure
like
you have.
animated movies goes, like I rarely miss them.
I'm sure you have. But I really like The Illusionist. I projected a lot at a job I had, and I just like keep falling in love with it. It's just very well told. I know it's another dead filmmaker who got a new movie in the 2010s with Jacques Tati, but it's just like so perfectly made, and I don't know, just a nice, simple kind of story. The next one is the first How to Train Your Dragon, which
Hey,
was
guys, I'm gonna
2010.
Lammy's being like really bad, so
Okay.
I'll be or I'm gonna call it for now.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Well, nice
Saber
seeing
has
you.
his own list of his top 5 animated movies on his channel, so you can check that out.
Yeah. But yeah, the first How to Train Your Dragon, I really want to call it. I actually hated the trailer beforehand, like really hated the trailer, and my friend was like, "No, it's not like the trailer. You have to see it." And I fell in love. Then Inside Out, I think is probably the best Pixar of the decade. I'd say, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it's one I like the most.
I would say that too. That's like my number 4.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So this next part, I guess, is controversial because it's 2 movies, and they both 2 movies in one franchise came out this decade. And Toy Story 3, I think you can't talk about Pixar without, because it almost felt like the end of their great period.
Yeah.
Because like every movie except for Cars was really great. Like everyone was just like a definable huge classic. And
Yeah,
I think Toy Story 3,
I don't know about Bug's Life, but I mean,
okay, well, there are exceptions. Okay, other than a few, but then the 2010s,
like Bug's Life was like okay.
Oh no, Bug's Life, I'm not counting in that. But for the most part, it was like they had more hits than misses. You know what I mean? I mean, they're all financially hits, but in terms of movies we all like, and it was also just a very touching moment. And the next one, and I think people are gonna not like it that I say this, but because my daughter got so into Toy Story 4, I kind of can't not have it on my favorite.
Oh,
because
that's a
we've had-
controversial one.
we've had so many good times watching that movie. In fact, the first time we watched it, like we just moved to this place, and it was like, every movie is stressful, and we had family members up helping, and it was just an amazing time seeing it. And I'll never forget that time, especially because what's been happening this year. But it was just an amazing time, and Sophie's watched it a million times. But I also like the idea that it was a franchise that let a character go. I thought was a really healthy thing to have in a movie franchise. Like someone be like, okay, that's the end of your story, and you moved on. I thought was really healthy. And also she watches it. I've seen it a lot of times.
Hmm.
And then the last one would have been, okay, the next, these are in no particular, but the other one, which I fell in love with before I had a kid, but now I even had it, it was on today, which was Frozen. I really was Frozen when I saw it. Nobody knew anything about this movie before it came out.
Yeah.
And when I saw it in theaters, everyone was flipping out in the theater. Like I remember it was like the first show you could, just because I see movies. I used to be able to see movies right away in the theater. And it just, I remember everyone was like a Disney fan, had their arms crossed, and by Let It Go, everyone like stood up and cheered. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck is this? It was crazy.
And everyone clapped.
Everyone, yeah, it was just like, it was, I don't know. And I like the first Frozen a lot, and now it's become more sentimental because I have to watch it
Yeah,
nonstop.
now you're obligated to watch
Now,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
now I have no choice. And then the next one, a bunch of these probably would have been, if we were counting animated movies, would be on here, by the way. But the Lego movie, I did not
My
expect to like this movie. Is it
that's
your
my
number
favorite.
one?
Yes, that's my favorite of the decade.
Of
Is my,
course,
my number
I
one.
thought
Like,
so.
because like everybody was like expected, like it's like this is just gonna be a product placement, and then watching it is like, holy shit, this is super creative.
Oh, it was like, and I think it speaks to the power of animation, as does the next one after
And
this.
like
Ju-
Lego
Just
and
like,
animation just go like
oh yeah,
they've been intertwined for a long time because of just like
oh,
stop motion and everything.
longer than people
Yeah.
realize, but also just the idea that like you never knew what was going to happen. It was always surprising,
Yeah, I was like
and
the first time I watched it, I was smiling the entire time, so, because I was
yeah,
like, oh my god, this is like so fun.
it was. Oh, it's such a. I actually need to watch that with Sophie. We haven't done that, and it's just such a good one. And then I guess this one would probably been, if I'm doing like a top 10 of like best and favorite, this would probably be number two, and that is, of course, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
I love this movie. I think I love it because the animation, the design are crazy. It's colorful, it all those things, but also it has like a great message for like, I always tell people like it's a great movie, but it's a wonderful movie. It's a great superhero movie. It's probably the best superhero movie of the decade, if you ask me.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
after I saw it, I was like, that was the most comic book movie to ever comic book.
Yes,
Because like
that's a
just
good.
the
Yeah,
story
yeah,
that it goes with is like, holy shit.
yeah. But also, I think just the idea that like anyone can wear the mask, and they like definitely explode. Like, there's no way you watch that movie and think I can't be Spider-Man. You think, oh, anyone could be Spider-Man. It's like really
Yeah.
inspiring. So it's like there's very few movies that can be as inspiring as that, and as like the animation be as alive, and frankly, by the way, like I really, it came out the same year as Black Panther. I really upset
Did
Black
you really hold
Panther.
on? Your mic cut out a little bit there.
Oh, sorry. It came out. Sorry, it came out the same year as Black Panther, and I didn't think anything was going to be a more progressive, more crazy superhero movie than that in the same year. And Spider Verse came along and was like, "Hold my beer," and just like
Yeah,
knocked
and
over
that was
everybody.
the movie that came out after Sony Animation did the Emoji Movie. It's like,
Yes,
what
yes, it is.
happened? Like,
Well, I think it's more just the direct. It shows
oh
you the
yeah,
difference between Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who by the way, I think should get more credit for what they did with this decade, because they took two animated movies that I would not expect to be as good and made them some of the best of the decade, like the Lego Movie and Spider
yeah.
in the Spider Verse. It's crazy, And I mean, they made, like, I'll say, probably the best Spider-Man movie. I know that might be crazy, because I do love Spider-Man too, but I think they just like, I don't know, right at the end of the decade, they just like trounced everybody. You
Oh
know.
yeah, there was the Star too that came out in between like Emoji Movie and Spider Verse.
Oh, sorry. I'm glad you brought that up.
I completely forgot about that movie.
Don't worry, no one does. Netflix pushes it on me sometimes. Don't even
Oh.
front. I didn't see that in theaters.
So I guess is that all of your animated movies?
Yeah, that's it.
Because
That's it.
I have a few that you haven't mentioned.
Okay, okay.
That I had on my list. I'll just go over them. Rio. Um, it's one of the Blue Sky's best movies. Like just in general. Um, the color of it is amazing. It has really great music. I love seeing like CG Brazil and Rio. Um, so and I love parrots. So that's one thing that like made me really like that movie.
Hmm.
Rango. Uh, which
Oh yeah.
yeah, which is that I think that was actually on Saber's top 5. Um, it's it's a really fun like animated western. Um, just it has a very interesting design compared to any other animated movie. Like everything looks ugly.
Yeah.
But like ugly in like a good way. It's like a realistic animals that are just in this village. Um, then I had to put this movie on my list, the My Little Pony movie,
Of course, of
because
course.
like it's great.
I
Like
haven't seen the movie.
I wasn't expecting it to be like amazing or anything, but man, the music is so good in that movie.
Maybe
Like Daniel
is
Ingram, like that. The thing is, like that season of Ponies that was happening, season 7 was happening around that year, and
mm,
we didn't really have that many songs besides like The Perfect Pair, I think. Which people who watch Ponies know what I'm talking about. Um,
mm.
so I was like, where are all the songs this season? And then the movie happened. It was like, holy shit, these songs are fucking amazing. Because like Daniel Ingram is like one of the best like songwriters of the decade. I'm gonna say that
Mm.
because like
Oh
if you
wow.
watch Ponies, like there's gonna be like songs that you're gonna be humming to yourself if you ever watch Ponies with Sophie. Like
I
the songs are really good.
she's actually been watching it a little more lately, so I've seen it more in the past like couple months than I've seen it despite going to conventions. Um, but I've been yeah, I we have not watched the movie yet. I think she just watched the early, which does seem fine, but
Yeah,
she gets mad when I get the pony names wrong. So you'll
yeah.
know that
Are you gonna call one of the ponies Apple Clumps?
I've said apple clubs, and she's just like Dad, that's not. Oh, come on! I'm like, no, his name's Apple Clubs. I have it on good authority. And she's like not happy about Apple Clubs.
That's hilarious.
Uh, yeah, I mean, I'm like, to be honest, I'm not 100% sure. I think someone's called Apple Clumps. I don't know.
But yeah, like the pony movie, I had to put it on my list when I was doing that. Then Kung Fu Panda 2 was one
Did
we
that
did
come out
mention.
this decade?
Yeah, it came out in 2011.
Oh, that is. You know what I will say? One of the best directed animated movies.
Oh yeah, it was
The
really
way the
good.
camera
And
moves.
like Shen as the villain is like
Mm.
excellent.
That's a great franchise.
This one was like probably the newest one that was on my list when I made it. Klaus. Um, because like just seeing like new 2D animation like that, I was like that's amazing.
I need
Um,
to see that this season again.
Yeah, because I watched it a couple times. I think like 3 times. Last Christmas.
Same.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a good holiday movie too. So, Your Name, which
Oh yes, yes.
yeah, which that's another movie about like communication, I guess.
True.
Um, then The Red Turtle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Good night,
did
Saber.
you see The Red Turtle?
Yes, I did. I saw it in theaters actually. I liked it. Didn't that's the last Takahata movie.
Yeah,
He did because he worked on it. That was an interesting one. That was an interesting one. Good
yeah,
choice.
it's a very interesting, weird movie, and it has no dialogue. It's one of those dialogue
Yeah.
movies. Oh yeah, I had this on my list. Moana. That
Oh
was
yeah.
like as far as like the mainline like Disney princess films. Like Moana was my favorite of those from the decade.
I watch it a lot.
Yeah, and also like it was my favorite as far as like the music too. The music is
Oh
really
yeah.
great in that movie.
The songs are wonderful. And The Rock's good in it.
Yeah,
See, The Rock got a lot of representation It's probably more. Fast Five and
Ernest and Celestine.
oh, damn, forgot about that one.
Yeah,
That's
like that's another one of those 2D movies where it's like, oh, the style is like really, really good.
yeah.
A Silent Voice.
That's a good one. I saw
Yeah.
that more recently. I didn't see it when it came out. I think it won the Patreon, and that was an interesting one.
Yeah, it's it's a really good like movie about, I guess, like kind of like locking yourself away from the world after some kind of incident.
Yeah,
Because like with the way the main character like sees everybody with like X's on their faces, um, I thought that was really interesting.
Similar to Anomalisa.
Yeah. Wreck-It Ralph, just because I'm like, oh, cool, video games are like being represented in movies, like more accurately than usual.
Yeah, true.
And I think the only other, there's other two here that were on my main list that you didn't mention. Wolf Children.
I haven't seen that one actually.
It's Hosada's. Well, I think it's Hosada's best film.
Okay,
So
I need.
yeah, I think that's the only one you haven't seen.
I think because I saw he did Girl Who.
Yeah, he did The Girl Who Left Her Time and The Boy and the Beast.
Yeah, and I think but I like Girl Who Left Her. Actually, I didn't like Boy and the Beast, and Murai, wasn't Murai his?
I think so. I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, Murai is really good. I really like Murai, but yeah, and Summer. Oh yeah, someone brought up Summer Wars. Was that him?
Yeah, that was 2009 though.
Oh okay, yeah, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then let's see. As far as like my main list, this was my number 2 on my list that I did here was Song of the Sea.
Oh wow, I'm surprised.
Yeah, I love that movie a lot. Like just Tom Moore's style is like so unique.
Are you seen Wolfwalkers, right?
Yeah, I've seen it.
You did that as well as me. Did you do the TIFF thing or
what? Yeah, I did the TIFF thing.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I did watch. I actually watched your review. Now, sorry, I'm embarrassed now. Okay, but that was a great movie. That was a great. movie.
Yeah. Like I do like it. I'll have to rewatch it sometime. But I like as far as like those like main films that Tom Moore's done with Secret of Kills, Wolfwalkers, and Song of the Sea. I like Song of the Sea the best. People also brought up The Breadwinner, but that wasn't directed by him. It's just produced by him. I forgot who directed it.
It's the same studio, but not direct.
Then for honorable mentions, I had Sausage Party because I was like, I don't care. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
And that was one of the biggest surprises for me in 2016. I was like, this movie's about religion? What the? So that was very interesting. The Illusionist, like I talked about. Tale of Princess Kaguya.
Oh, that is a good one.
That's a really good. You didn't have any anime films on your list.
Did I? Yeah,
I don't think you listed any.
No. Oh well. I'm not. Sorry, anime. I mean, I did do it. I don't know. If I did an animated one, I'd probably. I don't know. Yeah, I should have had my anime on there.
Equestria Girls Rainbow Rocks. That is the best Equestria. It's the best Equestria Girls movie. It's really the music's really good. So once Sophie gets to the Equestria Girls stuff, like the first Equestria Girls is pretty bad. The second one is the best one. The third one's like okay. The fourth one's probably the second best one, I think, maybe. And then there's like a bunch of shorts and everything.
How many? Okay.
There's a lot.
I don't know if we'll get that far into it. I've noticed everyone's like very into this idea of finally I will watch My Little Pony. After all this time.
Then the Peanuts movie.
It's a good one.
Yeah. It's like it's probably Blue Sky's best film, but I like Rio slightly better.
Yeah.
Then then the last honorable mention I had was It's Such a Beautiful Day. Which
Oh,
is
damn it.
from the same guy that made the Rejected short.
I would have put that up. I just, damn it, you're right.
Yeah, that's such a strange movie. Which is, it's like a bunch of shorts like string together, but like still it's like a movie.
Yeah. It's a good movie.
Yeah. So there's like movies of
Yeah, that's
a quick overview of animated movies that we liked.
Yeah.
Since we were mainly focused on live action for this live stream.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's it. That's the 2010s, you know.
Yeah. We'll
Well,
see if the
thank you for-
2020s are any better. I mean, obviously the best movie this year was Sonic.
Sure. Sure. But, well, thank you for having me on and everything.
Yeah, you're welcome. So I guess next time, next Monday will be the next POS podcast. I'll edit this. I'll leave this live stream up unlisted, but then I'll edit it through the YouTube thing, so you be up. So you can rewatch it if you miss anything. So yeah. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you, or I guess I'll see you on the POS podcast next week, and you can go visit Jim on his channel. And or you're doing a movie crap this weekend?
Yes, I'm gonna do a movie crap live this Saturday, and I'll probably have videos out all this week. So come and subscribe. Got lots of reviews coming out. Lots of different videos. Maybe a Quippy video. We'll see.
All right. We'll see you guys.